Welcome to today's news on TV9. I'm Ada Show. In today's local news, dairy giants are coming under increasing pressure to review how much of a controversial snot-like byproducts they add to our milk, while the debate continues over whether or not to increase the minimum wage. Mayors in the South Island want to align together as a strategic alliance to fight for their common interests. Some say Auckland is hogging the government's funds for infrastructure, but business leaders in the super city say that's nonsense. Christy Jai has more.
This week, Dunedin became the first large local council to sign up to the creation of a South Island Strategic Alliance, a group of 28 councils right across the mainland with common interests and mutual benefits. The so-called Coalition of the Willing wants to have their voices heard more by central government, and officials like Invercargill Mayor Tim Shapple is not happy that Auckland gets all the attention. But business leaders in the super city are smirking at the idea.
I think what's really important is that they don't look at Auckland as the competition. What they should do is leverage off what we have here.
Michael Barnett rejects concerns about Auckland hogging government funds for infrastructure, saying for decades it had contributed more than it got back.
Auckland has been the only net contributor when you look at the taxes that are raised in respect of infrastructure investment. So when you look at all the road user taxes and the excise taxes, we've collected more money in Auckland than what we've spent, so our money has gone to the South Island to help them build their infrastructure.
Barnett suggests the mainlanders learn more about the idea of efficiency from the super city. As he says, the Coalition of the Willing shared a population of about 1 million, while Auckland had about 1.4 million people with only 1 mayor and 20 councillors. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Petrol prices fell at some pumps yesterday as the New Zealand dollar continued to rise and raw materials costs slumped. Service stations owners said and BP both cut the prices 2 cents a litre, down to $2.17 per litre for 91 fuel and $2.25 for 95 fuel. MPs have been debating whether to increase the minimum wage from $13.50 to $15 an hour. The businesses hold a mixed view on the idea. Chrissy Jai reports.
Labour MP David Clark's bill to increase the minimum wage from $13.50 to $15 an hour has been extensively debated in and out of Parliament. The argument has always been that the increase will benefit low-income families who would spend the extra money in their pockets on food and necessities, and in turn provide a stimulus which many small businesses benefit from. But businesses don't necessarily agree with that view, and some are calling it a purist economic model with no real-world evidence.
We're talking about a reasonably small number of people, a reasonably small income. So in terms of the additional, fiscal value floating through the economy, I don't think that's substantive enough to see real change in terms of the health of the overall economy.
The government also opposes the increase, claiming it would add costs on employers. Julian Smith says at a time of economic hardship, especially when the unemployment rate is as high as it is, the focus should be on making it easier to take on new people.
I think bringing back the starting out wage is a really good idea. I think actually making it easier for businesses to hire young people, remembering that young people often don't have any work experience or any qualifications, and so a business really has to invest time in upskilling them and getting them really to be productive in the workforce.
The government says a wage increase of this magnitude could result in 5,500 jobs being lost. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Mayor Len Brown visited the suburb of Newland this week to see its transformation firsthand. Christy Zhao reports.
Newland is being touted as the centre of growth in West Auckland. With new train stations, a medical centre and more retail space, local officials say it's all about making the town centre attractive. Acting local board chairman Duncan McDonald sees it as the future of suburbs, and he wants people to come to Newland and feel like they're on Queen Street.
Why would you want to live in the city down Queen Street when you can get out into the suburbs? Everything's here, all your shopping's here, a nice place to live.
Mayor Len Brown led a technical tour around town, getting a real sense of the changes. He reiterated his goal in building the world's most livable city.
Livability is about real economic strength and retail strength and commercial strength, and this is the hub of it.
Brown says the idea of quality compact city in the Auckland plan requires the building of metro centres like New Lynn, providing opportunities for choice in where people live. Christy Zhao, 9 News.
Dairy prices rose in the fourth straight gain on the global dairy trade platform, with gains for whole and skim milk powder. Overall prices are up 2.4%, while whole milk powder is 2% higher and skim milk powder has risen 4.7%. Milk protein concentrates, however, fell 3.4%. Many argue about whether permeates, a watery high lactose waste product, should be re-added into our milk. Our largest milk supplier, Fonterra and Goodman Fielder, argues that it standardises protein levels all year round, and they're just adding milks to milk. But others say it's watering down already expensive milk. Amy Fong has more.
Under New Zealand food standard, milk must contain 3% protein, and re-adding permeate to milk is allowed, as this would standardise protein levels in milk. However, the adding of permeate waters down milk, and Fonterra and Goodman Fielder are refusing to tell the consumers how much permeate is added in their milk.
The permeate, I should explain what that is the water-soluble component of milk. So when the protein and the fat is taken out of milk, the 95% of milk that is left behind is called the permeate. So effectively it is completely natural, and it's a fresh product that is manufactured by a process called ultrafiltration of milk. So this product is then added back into milk to dilute it slightly. So it's a watery substance, and effectively it's just used as a dilutant to make the milk protein down to a standardized level.
Vice President of New Zealand Institute of Food Science and Technology, David Everett, explained that re-adding of permeate to milk is purely for economic reasons.
So when the cows produce milk, what happens is that the protein content can be high in some instances during the year and low in other instances. So they dilute the milk back to the lowest common denominator of the protein content. So it's just simply added to make the protein content of the milk approximately 3% all the year round. So it's done for economic reasons, just to save a bit of money by the dairy manufacturers.
He also explained that there is no impact on health, as they are perfectly natural, so there is no need for consumers to be concerned. However, Fonterra and Goodman Fielder refuses to tell the consumers how much permeate is added in their milk, as it was commercially sensitive. Move writer Wendell Nyson said that charging consumers extra for the product was absolute criminal. Amy Feng, 9 News.
With a significant increase in people travelling the budget airline, Jetstar has announced it is expanding its New Zealand operations, with the addition of 1 new plane and the hiring of extra 50 people. It's also upping the frequency of flights both domestically and across the Tasman, meaning an extra 36 return flights a week will be put on. A Japan Innovation Fund was launched yesterday by the Auckland airports, aiming to attract more Japanese tourists to come to New Zealand. It is predicted that the Japanese travellers could contribute up to $300 million each year by 2020. Amy Fong reports.
$250,000 of funding from the Auckland airport will be used towards improving the Japanese market. This will encourage tourism businesses in New Zealand to develop more products and services to attract more Japanese travellers. They are aiming to raise the Japanese market back up to more than 100,000 visitors a year, and General Manager Aeronautical Commercial Glenn Wakelock said, "In order to do this, we need to show that we can deliver the unique experiences they want and offer great value, comparable to countries like Croatia and Slovenia, which have seen significant increases in the number of Japanese visitors in the past 4 years." He also said that air capacity from Japan to New Zealand needs to increase to support this lift in inbound tourism, and will also support the development of high-value air freight exports, which is a key focus for the government. Glenn Whitlock said that they see good growth in the market as several airlines are now increasing their capacity between New Zealand and Japan, but there is huge potential to develop further demand. Chief Executive of Tourism Industry Association, Martin Sneeden, said, "It is great to see Auckland Airport investing in such a focused and meaningful way, giving tourism businesses the impetus to do better for the benefit of our economy." Japanese travellers contributed $209 million in visitor value at the end of 2011, and Auckland Airport is expecting that to reach $300 billion each year by 2020. Amy Feng, 9 News.
Now we have a TV9 host from Asia Focus, Julie Nixon, to comment on fees factor and KiwiSaver selection.
The selection of a KiwiSaver provider is a big decision because it can be a major influence on the size of the nest egg that you will receive in retirement. No KiwiSaver fund provides a guaranteed return. All a KiwiSaver fund manager can do is to provide an assessment of the level of risk associated with a particular fund, along with guidelines on returns. So in rating the 91 KiwiSaver funds in New Zealand, research house Canstar said 70% of its assessment was based on the level of fees charged to customers. Canstar's ratings don't take investment performance into account because academic research reveals that there is no strong evidence that one fund will perform better than any other over the long term. However, the level of fees charged can have a significant impact on the end balance. Most KiwiSaver schemes charge a flat membership fee on an annual basis, as well as having operating costs which have to be paid for out of a fund's assets. But there is a high level of variation. No two schemes are identical. When comparing schemes of a similar cost, the differences are in their features. Apart from fees, Canstar takes into account communication, account access and function, investment options, and the ability to obtain financial advice without extra cost. However, in many cases it's difficult to work out all of the fees that are charged. According to Canstar, not all fees are reported, so there's a shortfall in information. Effectively, savers don't have enough information to make an informed decision about which KiwiSaver provider to choose. The good news is that the government says it will introduce standardised reporting for all KiwiSaver schemes next year. Let's wait until more information about this initiative becomes available before we applaud the government on this move. But if standardised reporting enables people saving for retirement to compare apples with apples, the introduction of such a regime is a step in the right direction.
Thank you, Julian. Now let's take a short break and we'll be back shortly.